Hi, folks. I hope everybody's doing great tonight. Welcome to Glancing Behind the Veil. Um, we seem to be getting on, and we're going to start a little bit later each Thursday. Instead of starting at 8:30, we're going to start at 8:45 on Thursdays. It makes it a little bit easier for us. Our network is growing very quickly, and we've added quite a few shows on, and this gives our producers the chance to be able to better coordinate the shows so that we can give you guys a better product. Our producers are out in Iowa, and then we have producers in Hi, Carmel. And then we have producers in South Carolina, and we have producers in the United Kingdom in Wales. So this makes it a lot easier for us to try to coordinate things. So the new set time will be at 8:45 Eastern Standard Time, and that'll be 7:45 Central Time. This evening, instead of doing any type of like an introduction or an explanation as to tonight's show, I'm going to let the owner himself tell us about some of the experiences and kind of explain about what they're going through. It's a school that's in Middletown, Ohio called Poasttown Elementary School. Many of us went to this school. Hi, Patty. Hi, Bonzam. Hey, I hope everything's all right, Bonzam, in New Zealand. I'm going to start a prayer circle for you guys. It's pretty bad what you guys are going through out there. The school started in 1937, and they had the I think it was like the commencement and everything of the school in 1938. I'm going to let Jamie, who is the caretaker, and she will be joining us this evening. It's Jamie Hall Russell, and she is the caretaker of Poasttown Elementary School. Hi, Jamie.
Hi.
I've had him go ahead and pull you up. Yeah, I was figuring that maybe what we might do is let Daryl have some of those videos, and I just went ahead and splice some of the public videos together so that we can just run through them and let Daryl kind of explain to us in his own words what's going on. And the owner of Poasttown School is a friend of a lot of us. It's Daryl Wisman and Brenda Wisman, his wife. They're completely beautiful, wonderful people. Daryl was supposed to have had surgery today, and apparently Jamie said it was postponed, and he was in the hospital, but I guess he has been released this evening. So we would also like to request prayer. Absolutely. Because we all know that, the energy of prayer does heal and it moves mountains. So if everybody wouldn't mind this evening, say a prayer for Daryl Wisman. And in the meantime, I'm going to have one of our producers or have our producer pull up a couple of videos that we have of Daryl and let him explain to us about Poasttown School. And then we're going to have Jamie start telling us about her firsthand experiences, because she's had quite a lot of experience inside of the school compared to most people. So we're going to pull up some of the videos.
Are you going to have me do the first three without the yellow background?
No, just the yellow ones.
Okay.
Yep.
There's somebody in the room behind me.
A lot of the paranormal groups tell me that when you pass, if you don't cross over, you go where you were the happiest. And I guess an elementary school was one of the happier places in a lot of kids' lives. Now, to me, I don't feel like there's nothing demonic here. If there was something bad here, I don't think me and my family could have lived here for 14 years. We've had a lot of audio, and quite a bit of video. I'm probably the only one I know of that anything bad's ever happened to, and I should say bad, but like I have some pictures. I want to point to this wall over here. That head with the 4 holes in it across the forehead, that's me. That was at 4:15 in the morning. I got one door in here, room 109, has opened 4 times, and all 4 times that door is opened on its own. Something bad happens to me that night. Specify that door, I can go over and try to let you open it, and you can't open that door. It's swelled up, it sticks so tight, you have to go inside the room and kick it as hard as you can.
And that was the one that would basically open on its own.
I don't know if it's like a portal or something people try to explain to me, that things can come and go as they please. And me and my wife went through the bedroom trying to find something, if I fell out of the bed or if I got up and walked around headbutting something, and we couldn't find anything that could make them 4 holes in my head in the bedroom. I think if you guys have things attached to you, like spirits of some kind, And right now they're in here with you and they're feeling comfortable. When you leave, they may stay here. If you come here and you're not at least a little bit open-minded, morning, I was on my hands and knees in the middle of my bedroom floor.
We just heard a very loud bang
And blood was just pouring out of my head.
right behind the camera back here.
And I don't know why it's haunted. I don't know what makes things be here.
You also do have my permission.
A lot of people that come here have experienced things in their earlier life, and they're all trying to find answers to what it is and what causes it. In 2004, there used to be a grocery store next door, and I'd come down to the grocery store and seen the building was empty and windows busted out, and it looked terrible. I went home and asked my wife, I said, can I show you something? So I brought her down and showed her the place. We had a lot of big plans here, what we could do here and live here and everything else. So we went with it. It just ended up being our house. Never knew anything about the paranormal, didn't know anything here was haunted or anything like that. You see something, it's just your eyes playing tricks on you. Or you hear noises, it's just a big old building, it's gonna make noises, you know. The guy working for me said he's seen a ghost upstairs. I'm like, you're crazy, there ain't no such thing as ghosts, you know, and dogs, possums, things that get in here. And he said, dude, you ain't gonna catch this. I said, we'll catch it. I'll get in the room, shut the door, and you're not gonna catch it. I said, well, if I can't catch it, I'll shoot it. And he knew these group of people, that's what they do, like on TV. And he talked me into letting them come in. They set up all this equipment and stuff, and every question they asked, they got a response to.
This is a room where we've had a lot of activity when we first came here. There was a night that we had a group here, and one of the guys wanted to come down here and actually test this out. Pulled on it, it wouldn't do anything. Did it again, said, hey, could you let me in? Pulled on the door, nothing. Well, as soon as he did it the second time, Daryl and I both heard a little girl behind the door say something in a very like sing-songy way, and it said, Mommy and Daddy said.
I was thinking, they're trying to trick me, they're trying.
And that was the owner, Daryl Wisman. Daryl was a skeptic about paranormal until he himself personally experienced quite a few things. And actually, my daughter went to the school, and I was a homeroom mom in the school, and quite a few of us have been at the school, and there's quite a few people over the years that have had experiences and such there in the school. And we're going to go to Jamie and let her start talking about what her role is at the school, how long she's been there, and kind of fill us in about, I guess your current experiences and what it is that you do in the school and what your role is with the school right now.
Okay. Currently, I guess you could kind of consider me Daryl's assistant, and I do the bookings and keep his calendar straight. I keep him straight, basically.
Well, that's a job in itself.
I give the tours, historic daytime tours. If somebody wants a historic daytime tour, not everybody is into the paranormal. I also give flashlight tours at night for people who want to kind of tiptoe into the paranormal, but they're kind of still a little scared. And then I do give the tours for the paranormal groups that come in, along with my POV team. We all participate in that role. But I'm
tell people what the POV. Tell them what the POV paranormal is.
POV Paranormal is my ghost hunting group. That is 6 of us. It's 3 married couples, and we just got together to pursue our interest in the paranormal. We travel all over investigating different places.
I'm going to have to go let my dog out. She's going crazy. She never does this. How did you come to, I guess, when you actually first thing, actually, and I'm going to do this while I let her out, I'm going to let you tell us that. Explain to people what the background history is of the school when you give like a history tour.
Okay. Originally Madison, where the school is located, it's part of Middletown and Madison, but it's actually located in an area that's called Madison now. Was 13 one-room schoolhouses, and they decided in 1937 that they needed to become a little more modern and have one big school with actual indoor plumbing, which was one of the big excitements to the students, that they were actually going to get to go to school with indoor plumbing. So they built Post Town in 1937, opened it in 1938. It originally was only opened with the gymnasium and 6 schoolrooms or classrooms, but it
Oh,
opened with
silly.
200
They sit on
students.
you? I sat on my dog. So they only had like 200 students when they first opened it up?
When it first opened, yeah.
Okay, so that might
They
make a
outgrew it.
little bit more sense because it is really made kind of strange there.
Yes, because they had additions. The actual, if you're looking at the school, the left side of the school was an addition where Daryl actually lives in like the 50s. I think it was 1957, and the actual cafeteria was built in that time too. They actually did not provide lunch until then. The kids packed and brought their own lunch.
Huh. Okay, well, that does make sense, especially as early as that is. Now, during that time period and stuff, is that maybe explain to people about? Well, no, actually, the train. Can you explain about the train wrecks that had happened prior to the construction of the school?
Yes, prior to the school actually being there, there were 2 train wrecks that occurred. There's a set of railroad tracks that run behind the school where there was once a train station, because not even a block from the school was a major road. It's called Cincinnati-Dayton Road, which runs from Cincinnati to Dayton, Ohio, and it was the main road before there was I-75. So there was a train station there too. And there was 2 train wrecks that occurred, one in the 1890s and one in 1910, where they used the actual land where the school is as the triage because there was no local hospital. And estimated 37-ish people did perish on that land as a result of those train wrecks.
Now, I didn't know that there was a train station there. Now, where was the train station itself located? Was that more towards like Posttown Church, or where would that have been?
It was located more towards where. Are you familiar with the train curve in the real sharp S curve? Where I think that
With which one?
there's a real sharp S curve. There is the train tracks cross it on the other side of Cincinnati or Route 4. Go back towards.
Okay, on the other side. Yes.
Yeah, there was a train
Yes.
station somewhere in that vicinity. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, speaking of train wrecks, I mean, I think all of us can really, I think right now with what's happening up there in East Palatine, Ohio, it gives us a real visual of how bad a train wreck can be, especially back then. And they were passenger trains. That's how most people traveled at that time. From what I understand, they were passenger trains.
The first train was cargo, and the people who perished were like the conductor and people who worked on the train. The second train was a passenger train, and they said that there was bodies and body parts strewn all over the place. It was really bad.
Yeah. Okay. And
articles about it. Yeah.
oh, really? Now I know the school grounds where Posttown is at, like that entire school ground area, and it was prior to the school being erected, but in that area that was used as like a triage for all of these victims.
Yeah, that's where they took the casualties until they could get them to the local hospital. I mean, the closest hospital, if I do recall, was either Hamilton, Fort Hughes, or in Dayton.
Wow.
And a lot of them died on
Wow.
the way, so they didn't even make it to hospitals.
Oh gosh. So that point of where these accidents happened, it was like 19 or so that died in the first wreck.
I don't think it was that many. It was like seven people. Yeah, there's some good pictures. Like there was just a few people in the first one. Most of the casualties came in the second one from the passengers. It was in the 30 range.
Okay, so that was wow. So there would have been just an immense amount, even if they didn't die there at the school itself. I mean, a point of trauma. I mean, there would be a lot of residual energy from the trauma that was incurred there by so many people, I would think.
Right, right. There's also across the street, there's the rock quarry that's right across the street where a lot of Native American artifacts have been found. So I think that it has a Native American pool too.
That's interesting you say that, because I forgot about that being there. A lot of people went there growing up and stuff like that. My dad always dared us to ever go anywhere near anything like that.
Right.
And of course, that's probably why most of my friends did go. Yeah, that whole area up through there. That's for those that don't listen. Even the school, it's called Madison Mohawks, and it's not like a misappropriation or anything that's disrespectful. It's actually an honor to the Native American population that the entire area has had, and they paid honor to it. Now, this would have been the second wreck in the
1810
or 1810 and 1910 and 1837, was it?
No, 1910 was the second wreck.
Oh, 1910. Okay, so that's the second wreck.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. And look at all these people. You could just imagine. Oh my gosh. And these people
I read articles that the people that were trying to help the people screaming had a difficult time getting to the people that were injured because of the spectators, and they were actually stealing from people who were injured or dead. They were stealing their jewelry, their belongings.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. You know what? That in and of itself there's probably quite a few angry spirits there.
Yeah.
I would be pretty angry if that happened. I mean, you're already at that point, and I mean, I've watched a ton of different shows and done a ton of studying on when people are crossing over, and they're pretty aware of what's happening to them and what's happened and everything else. So, yeah, either they followed somebody home or they're still waiting there for them to show back up. I don't know. I want my pearls. And have you guys, I assume, have you had a lot of activity that has happened in there from people who have passed away and stuff that you've been able to identify from the train wreck?
Yes, and since we have all of these news articles and we actually have a listing of the people who died in the train wreck at the school, there's binders there with all the information. When we get names through like spirit boxes or portals, we're able to match them up. And we get the name Frank a lot. And we even actually got this whole sentence, Frank did it. And when we went and referred back to the train article, Frank was actually the engineer of one of the trains, was his name.
Wow.
Yeah.
Now, see, cool. That right there to me, a lot of people I know a lot of people like to just watch like the investigations and stuff like that. But I'm someone that I am more interested in and will spend more time listening to people when they're explaining the confirmations of the information that they've received during a ghost investigation or ghost research. That's fantastic confirmation there. Right. So I wonder what, if they're insinuating he did something accidentally or if he did it, being nefarious, like if he intentionally did it, I wonder.
They say both of the train wrecks were human error, but due to the person more at the station, not telling them that this train left late or, however it worked back then. I know it's not, sophisticated as it is now, but they were due to human error.
Oh, wow. So it was proof. So that was confirmed also. Then it was somebody's fault. Wow. That's intense too. And I would think, that wreckage sat out there for quite a while.
I imagine.
I mean,
that's a lot to clean up.
Yeah, and it's not like they had a bunch of like Sandy's tow trucks to grab a hold of it and drag it all out of there. Right. I would think. Now, explain to people. I'm guessing. I'm even trying to think about. Explain to people. It's only just a few hundred yards from the property off the back of the school to where that whole wreckage would have been, isn't it?
Yeah, the train tracks. Yeah, you can see them out the windows, the train, when it goes by. You can hear it very clearly, but you can see it go by. Yeah, it's not very far.
Okay. And then, because a lot of people, I mean, sometimes people will think if there isn't a death like right there in the school or right there in the area that, that they can't be inhabited by this. Besides the fact of what Daryl had just explained in that video, they can come in attached with somebody. And I do think with that much energy, especially with the school having been on that property, I mean, they may be, I don't know, it would depend on which type of a spirit that it was. If it was something that I call like a time loop spirit, where it's just something that just seems to be stuck, in that time loop going on in a repeat activity. To me, that's something stuck in like a time loop. But there's some of them that, they just seem to be disembodied. I don't know if they didn't have a contract with, their soul or whatever the situation was, why they're here. But there are some that, I mean, they absolutely positively recognize that there's lights, that there's equipment and stuff. So they're probably going to be drawn to that. Now, there was a young girl, and I know the kids, they heard about it when they was going to school, that you guys had mentioned. It was a young girl that I guess was injured. And I guess it depends on who and who it is, that, because I've even heard some of the medians, and I had the same thought too when I experienced it, that some say she fell, and some say that something pushed her and caused her to fall. Tell us about that.
It's Sarah that you're referring to, the famous Sarah stairwell.
Oh, okay.
One of the highest active spots in the school. We used to call it a legend because you cannot find definitive documentation of it happening. You can find documentation of a girl being injured at the school, but the story doesn't exactly match. But we can't help but wonder if maybe the school wasn't trying to cover up the actual story. But the legend, then we'll say, is that she fell from the top stairwell all the way through the little opening, how the stairwell twirls down all the way to the bottom.
Oh, okay. Wow, that's wide open. That is 2 or 3 stories there?
Three stories. Yes. But she did not die at the school. She succumbed to her injuries at the hospital.
Wow, now that would have been a mercy if she had passed away there.
Yeah.
Yeah, actually, he's pulled in a great photo. You can see where he has the location marker.
Yeah,
and directly in behind that is that's exactly where the railroad tracks are. Yeah. And actually, while he has this up, great job. If you look off to, I'm pointing at it like you guys can see my phone. Now, how funny is that? That's a blonde card there. I'm pulling out a blonde card. Like, I can't help myself. But that whole area back and behind the school and stuff, all of that was used as a triage for the wreckage. We're different individuals, they didn't have hospitals. And at that time, even if they did, getting somebody to a hospital that fast would be just absolutely impossible.
Right.
And now if you look towards the front of this image that he's pulled up, and you see the hedge line, you can see there is the Little Miami River. And in 1913, our entire area from Dayton all the way to Cincinnati, had immense flooding. And there's areas marked with our downtown that, like say telephone poles that you go past. And they're marked, I think it's 13 feet, and some of them are 23 feet high on these telephone posts. So as close as you can see that river is to the front of the school, that school was flooded, that whole area, not the school, but that whole area had been flooded there too. And back in those days, I mean, there were a lot of farms and shacks and different things that were up and along that whole area. So I guarantee, and so you can see how much water's there. Actually, I think you can even see the rock quarry.
Yeah.
Yeah, you sure can. Yeah, that whole area through there, and that area is very active, like you said, with Native American. I know my family back in behind Post Town, they own a lot of land and stuff there, and the house is, let's see, in 2016 it had its bicentennial, so 200 years, in 2016. So now it's however long, 207 years old, I guess. And my uncle all the farm fields, because my family owns all that land and stuff up along EB Road and
Yeah.
Franklin, yeah, all up through all there, and the farmers and stuff, they used their plows and they would just dig up for the corn and various things, and just tons of Native American pottery came out. So they stopped it,
Oh, that's so cool.
and then and so all the museums came out, and this was the craziest thing. Though even my uncle's like, "Why did they do that?" But they came out and they documented all this Native American artifacts and artworks, and then they put it all back in the ground. Like, why would they not take it with them? I don't know. So you'll see certain areas where the land is raised up a little bit, and it's because there was that many from the Carlisle Indians.
Well,
There
I
was
can
just
tell
that many.
you why they may not have taken it out, because it could have been buried with someone. They would have buried their belongings with them, and they didn't want to disrupt that. That could be possibly why.
Yeah, and didn't want that curse. That's very likely what that is.
Mhm.
So I guarantee you that the whole school and all of that area is definitely, has to be probably on some sort of sale. At one point, of course, they used it, but I don't know, what it would have been used for would be Native American uses. Now, hi, Cole. You got Robert. I'm going to have him share like one of the videos, and we're going to watch one of your videos and then let you explain to us kind of like what we're checking out.
Okay.
And he.
Why is the motion plug going off?
So now it's
What was that?
That sounds like a cat.
Brian, the motion plug's going off.
Dude, what the hell was that?
It sounded like a cat outside.
Look that way. Point that way.
So they heard a really bizarre screeching sound that sounded like as if you would have stepped on a cat's tail. But there
It
was
did, didn't it?
Yeah, there was no cat in the building.
Wow. So now what hallway and stuff, what is that area?
That is the third floor, or the second floor if you don't count the basement. Looks like they were right outside what would have been the library when the school was open. We call it the doll room now because it's full of dolls, hundreds of dolls.
Hey, Phoenix. He said, I noticed that everybody, I guess everybody, I had some creepy dolls. Actually, I got a couple more in here that I need to bring them. But you said everybody is like, I guess people bring a doll there when they come in there?
They bring them and leave them. They ship them. We get them in the mail. Yes.
Wow. And there could be a lot of people don't realize that there is, especially if it's someone that a child used or somebody, there is usually a lot of residual energy stuck with the attachment to that doll. Like if you're out there and you're listening, do not take your daughter's doll and get rid of her doll and give it to somebody.
Right, yeah.
It's like, there really is. There's a lot of energy with that.
They have found some of these at flea markets and then sent them. So there's no telling what has been attached to some of these dolls. They've shipped them to our home, and please do not ship this to my home. Send it to the school.
I wouldn't want to ship to my house.
No.
I'm kind of weird about that stuff. Actually, what Phoenix and I were talking about, I've done a lot of, I do a lot of spiritual warfare and different things. I'll just make the short version of it. So if something, and everybody knows this too, if it's coming into my house, it's going to be cleansed before it comes in my front door, especially if it's a creepy doll or something like that. Like there's no tell. And plus somebody can actually intentionally put something on there, but
Right. Yeah. So when you open these boxes, I'm like, oh.
our producer said, disclaimer, do not send to any of the producers of Skydor. I will pee my pants. Yeah, my grandmother had this one doll set in her house, and she had a beautiful home. And for some reason, when the house was built, it had like this one little room thing that just kind of like stuck out by itself. Matter of fact, I've just thought I've got two of those darn dolls here. But anyway, she had this cradle, and she would have like all these creepy dolls in there. And of course, I would always get the center bedroom. So I would lay there. And then she had these two huge ferns. The one, I remember once when I was a kid, I thought it was a witch's head or something. But I tell you what, after that point, and I love dolls, But from that point on, I was like, there was just something just became creepy about dolls after that.
Right.
So they have how many dolls in there now?
Oh, there's hundreds. I can't even tell you. Hundreds.
You guys have to count them and do like the Clown Hotel does. They have like a little rack, and it's just on pieces of like little paper like that they've cut out. And every time somebody brings in another clown, they, add it, they change that number and add it up. I think they've got like 3,000 and something clowns in there right now.
Kind of like a population count.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Creepy doll count.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
Now, explain to people, a lot of people don't know, explain to people, and some of us do, but we do have a lot of different types of shows on here, not just always paranormal. Explain to people what a REM pod is and what its function is for, what it's doing.
The REM pod that was in the video, it has, that particular one can sense temperature change and energy. If it's an EMF detector, so if energy gets near it, it lights up.
And EMF means electromagnetic frequency.
Yes. So it'll pick up on either of those, temperature and the EMF.
And then what does it do when it picks up on those?
It lights different colors. The stronger the energy, it'll go through a series of colors: red, green, yellow, blue, and makes that buzzing, beeping noise.
So when we watched that video, that gentleman was no longer in the room and no one else was in the room. So if we go through what you say that this device does, so then apparently there must have been like a change in temperature, or it picked up some sort of an electromagnetic frequency nearby that piece of equipment?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay.
That was my husband running out of the room.
Was it really? I see, when you see, and a grown man is like, what the heck?
You see him run out a
Now,
lot
we
of
did
rooms.
hear, really? I can imagine. You guys run into a lot of stuff out there on the road. With the hallway that they were in, it did sound like somebody, like you hear the cats fighting, or a cat got stepped on, or something like that. What did that turn out to be? Or did you guys, I assume, did some background research on that?
Right, we never did find anything, because our number one goal is to debunk anything that we find. We don't just throw anything out there that, that makes noise or looks like a shadow. We always try to debunk it first. And we all went around looking for a cat and any kind of animal in the building with flashlights, and there was nothing to be found anywhere.
Wow. So that picked up, you guys not only heard it, it picked it up on audio too. And I don't see Daryl letting a wildcat. It sound like a wildcat.
Right. And I don't see any cats just running around there. They have a cat, but she's a little teeny tiny thing that barely makes a peep. And she wasn't in there. She was at home where she was supposed to be. And no wild animals.
So that sounded like it. And that sounded pretty big. Actually, sounded like a larger type of cat.
Teeny tiny cat, right.
Now, when it said like it, she's at home. Many people don't realize this. Daryl and Brenda, when they first found the school, and like I said, a lot of us went to this. No, I didn't go to the school, but my children did. When they first, Daryl and Brenda both went to Poasttown Elementary School. Most people in that area did, and their children also went to that school.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
My stepson went to that school, and my oldest daughter went there. As a matter of fact, I was a homeroom mom, and I also helped with like the IEP reading. And where the upstairs where the supply room was,
Mm-hmm.
when they started running out of room and they started putting the I don't know what you call them, but it was like the flow over trailers and stuff that was outside. Yeah, and I don't want no creepy dolls to me either. I'm trying to get rid of my grandma's and everybody else's. Matter of fact, I think I'm going to give them to my cousin Jack. I'm going to load him up with creepy dolls. He's going to watch this and go, you're not loading them up to me. Yeah, I am. I'll show them to his daughters first. But when we were in that janitor's it was not janitors, that supply room. I keep thinking it's like a mechanical and something else, but it's not. I think it was just a supply room, and it had like shelves in the back.
Mhm.
But when we were in there, and I mean, they just ran out of room in that school. The school just wasn't big enough, and they started bringing in like modulars, like for little modular classrooms out back and stuff. But you could really feel something. I don't know what it was. I won't say that it was. I won't say that it was evil. I won't say that it was bad. And this is Daryl and Brenda here. These are the best people ever. I adore them.
Yes.
And and actually, when I had a situation with someone that I had been with for years, and I was in between one house to another house and stuff, and they offered me to come stay out there. And of course, the rule was you can't open up the doors, can't leave during the weekend. You have to stay in, so you have to be willing to do that. But I thought, I don't know if I could even stay in a place as on what this place is. Now I know what I felt. I can't really say that what I felt was evil, but it was uncomfortable.
Mhm.
But I mean, even if a person's just staring at you and stuff, they would feel uncomfortable. But it was almost like a heavy. Like it was a heaviness. I didn't see anything to any of the kids because I wasn't going to, you can't, and I couldn't say anything to the lady because the actual teacher or the woman that was teaching IEP, I was just to help them out as a mom or as, a homeroom mom. I couldn't say anything to them. But there were times that you would see even she and other ones would get uneasy. And I asked her about it. And that was the exact words that she used to describe it. She said there was something that was uneasy in that. I don't know if it's a closet or a miniature or whatever it was. It was almost like a great big walk-in closet, but she felt something really uneasy in there also herself.
Was that kind of made in the stair at the very end of the hallway next to the stairs?
Yep, it sure is.
That's where Sarah fell. And that was
Is
not
it?
there. Yeah, that was not there when she fell. So we think that's where she fell from that side. And then that little extra room was constructed in that area.
Wow, I wonder what was there first. If maybe this, because I'm telling you what, it was the strangest feeling. It almost felt like, I wonder if there wasn't someone that was there that pushed her then, because it almost felt like it was almost like an uncomfortable menacing. It didn't feel like evil. Evil has a different feeling, but well, I guess menacing is evil, but it did feel like something was very creepy.
Nice,
I guess.
right. Yeah, not nice.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, there's a difference between not nice or menacing than demonic. It's not demonic, it's just not nice.
Yeah, but you know what? That would be the best way to explain it. Demonic. I hate to use the word demonic because it's been such a changed meaning, but yeah, you're exactly right. It was not nice. It was more of a human, mean, menacing type thing versus an actual demonic. Bonzan said, my eldest girl never liked dolls, only stuffed animals. Well, let me tell you about some stuffed animals.
Right. There's stuffed animals in that room too.
Is there figures?
Yeah, there's all kinds of things. Bears. Yeah.
Wow. So that's kind of that's kind of creepy in itself. I've watched so many videos over the years of the activity and stuff in the school. I've seen videos where people have had like that. It's like I even knew the name of it too because my kid had this thing. It's where the kids get on top of it. It's almost like a little scooter that you get on top of, but it goes just like this, and it's like a little hill that they sit on top of, and they can push themselves down. And I don't know if somebody brought it with them to the school or if it's already there, but I mean, these guys were actually sitting back there. And they'd been sitting there long enough that it couldn't have been them that triggered it. And I know these wheels set in a little trough themselves. A child has to actually push it to make it go down. Mm-hmm. And I watched it actually move. I rewound it a few times to debunk it, see if they were messing with it and stuff. And I seen it move completely by itself.
Yeah, the little roller coaster. Yeah, it's in the doll room.
Oh, so it's still the creepy room, the doll room.
I've actually sat on that roller coaster myself, just being goofy, and I could swear while I'm sitting there, it feels like someone's pushing on my back, like they're trying to push you to go. Yeah, and I've asked someone else, I'm like, come and sit on this and tell me what you feel, and they've said the same thing.
Oh, wow. So was that something that somebody brought, or was that something that was I mean, I know it wasn't at the school itself,
Right.
but I mean, what did somebody bring that in there? Or did you guys get? Do you know the background on that piece of
I do
equipment?
not. I know someone just gave it to Daryl, but I've never asked him specifically who gave it to him.
See, I wondered if it was something attached to it or attached to the school itself.
Right.
How many have you guys? I mean, it seems like some areas seem to have like more of a familiar type spirit that comes more often than others. Or like have you had Sarah come through?
Oh yeah, Sarah comes through a lot. That's one of the main things you'll hear there at the school is a lot of giggling, and it's definitely a little girl giggling, and we believe that's Sarah. Right outside of that hallway where she fell, or the stairwell, is the gymnasium, and we have a lot of people who experience balls rolling, or they'll roll it forward and it'll just stop suddenly and roll backwards. We just sometimes wonder if that's not her playing with them. We've heard the clicking of little shoes on the stairs. My husband actually had his first paranormal experience and seen Sarah on the stairwell, and it messed him up pretty good for a little while, and he cried. It made him actually cry. I've heard the giggling and the click clack of what I would say like maybe some patent type shoes going, and so we know she's around there a lot.
Wow. So those actually seem like they are explaining the same entity. It's not like it's something different. So that does sound like it's something that's staying consistently the same entity.
Right. We've heard had different teams, paranormal teams, say that they've caught a scream in that stairwell, which could be her, unfortunately, maybe falling.
Oh, yeah, that could be very possible.
Yeah.
Huh. Wow. That's pretty sad to think that happened. But I mean, it's a school. It is an open stairwell. I mean, things can happen, but I really did. I mean, even I picked up on that she was pushed, and that's kind of strange that room happens to be right there next to that same spot, huh?
Right, and that's what I feel too. I feel that she was pushed. I just have this vision in my head that maybe she was reaching for something, and someone took the opportunity and pushed her on over.
So that you feel like she was reaching. You don't think it was somebody trying to kind of get rid of something that she might have had done to her or heard of or anything?
I just get the feeling that I have a vision of a balloon. Like maybe she had a balloon and she let it go and she's reaching for it. And then someone comes up behind her that's just menacing and mean and pushes her and kind of laughs about it. In my head, I actually hear kind of the laughter about it. And not a nice laugh.
That's pretty bad. Wow. So that could have been like a brat kid or something.
Exactly. That's Sarah's stairwell right there. Yes.
It sure is.
Yes.
Wow. Yeah, and right up there is where that room is. That's interesting. Yeah, because I even thought, and it was I even remember, that's ironic, today is a Thursday too. And it was Thursdays and Tuesdays that they had the reading, and I would be like, oh, it's Thursday, I hate to go to that room. And then I would like feel bad, and I would kind of like tell myself like, I shouldn't be thinking that. The kids have to go in there.
Right. But
here I don't want to go in there. I go down to the paper place and get all these books for the kids and go in there and read these books and stuff to the kids. We're going to take a very short intermission. And right after we take that, we have a commercial that we're going to show. It's not a commercial, actually. It's a preview about another show that we have going on in a gala. And then we're going to be right back. Or maybe not. Okay, we're back. We have a few new shows that are signed on. I think they're trying to let everybody know about some of the shows, and kind of give everybody a heads up. That way they can kind of check out some of the other stuff. Now, we have another video that we have two more videos. We have another video that we're going to watch of your guys. And then let's go over that one too, because I know you guys, and then we'll start talking about more of your stuff, because I know POV's done a lot of work in there. We're going to, if you can pull up one of the other videos.
What'd she say? Phone or own?
Phone. Yeah, these devices.
Oh, wow.
These devices that they have in their hands are phones nowadays. They're a lot different than the phones you used to use, I'm sure. If you could call one person, who would you call?
Oh, good question, B.
Dad.
Oh, oh, Tracy, listen to what he fucking asked. Oh my God.
Now, for those that don't know, that is it's fairly new. How long have you think they've been doing the Estes technique or Estes method?
I have no idea. That's a good question. I'm gonna check into that.
Yeah, it's not been very long.
No,
What they're doing?
Maybe in the past year.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. So too. I don't think I'd ran into it too much out in the field. And funny thing is we've done it, but we never did give it a name. We kind of blew it there. If we'd have gave it a name, who knows? It had been the Russell method. But what that is they wear like a soundproof device on their head. Usually it is like a muffled earphones and stuff, but not always. But usually that is really what they use. Mm-hmm. And they cannot hear the questions that are being asked. They can't hear the ink box or the spirit box. And what an ink box and a spirit box is it's a rewired device that scans the bandwidth and frequencies, and it picks up sounds. And usually, hey Kathy, usually what it's done is the different energies, they work it on to where they get it on a frequency that they can communicate back and forth. Stronger spirits seem to be a lot better at that. And sometimes you have certain spirits that seem to me like they can tune it in pretty quick.
Right.
And I think even they're pulled to certain spirit boxes, even when they're taken. I mean, you can have one in Texas and take the same spirit box to whatever, Cincinnati, and it can pull through that person. So that shows me that we are, it's okay. It's just a storm. We are picking up, my dog's going, oh my God, it's raining. But they can pick up things that are interdimensional somehow. The Estes method will have an individual, like, was that POV that was doing that one?
That was
okay. It's called P. Okay, that team is
Estes method for us.
Okay, and she's going to, we're going to have Jamie explain to them, because that is her investigation team, POV Paranormal, and we're going to have her explain how that Estes, say that twice, Estes, I couldn't say it twice, let alone 3 times, how the Estes, they should have named it Russell,
right,
method works. Yeah, right, how it works, and what it is that we were seeing, explain how that works.
Okay, what you've seen was Tracy doing the Estes method. So she has noise canceling headphones on, so she cannot hear us. And she also wears a blindfold, so there's no lip reading. We don't want people to accuse us of lip reading. And of course, she's in a dark room, so keep that in mind too. And someone will ask the questions. Brian, her husband, was asking the questions, and Tracy was just yelling out whatever came through the spirit box that she was listening to. And her answers coincided with the questions that he asked. Perfectly.
Yeah. Actually, I mean, they were spot on.
Right.
They were, spot on. I mean, there wasn't even a pause, like when she answered Dad.
Right.
I mean, that was really quick. That was really quick. I think, a lot of you get so much of the on a lot of the spirit boxes. A lot of people feel that and some people do this though at the same time, that it's more open to interpretation, and that a lot of people are just, oh, well, they just interpreted it to mean that. And you do see that. You have certain people that, yeah, like a random AM FM scan, like Steve is saying. You'll see a lot of people that are listening and stuff to it, and they'll be of a certain mindset, and it seems like whatever they hear, they always seem to translate it based on the type of mindset. So no matter what that spirit is saying or the energy they're picking up is saying, usually it's going to have the same type of a topic matter because they're interpreting it from their own minds and their perspective. But there are some oh yeah, go ahead and show those. There are some spirit boxes that come through, and the Estes method really helps with it, that just come through so clear. You can't deny what it is that you're hearing. Yeah, there's the creepy doll room. Look at all these creepy dolls. Now see, yeah. See, even in the broad daylight with all that light, that's still creepy.
Yeah.
You got to go through and count all the dolls. You have to have a doll room count thing. This right here is one of the movies that they had at Posttown. They've shot several movies at Posttown School, and this is my friend Daniel Radigan's daughter, Sophia, one of my sweetest. I love my cutest little girl in the world. They shot Rosalie, and which you can. I just watched Rosalie again on Netflix probably about 2 weeks ago. So I would say it's probably still on Netflix.
I think it's on Prime too.
Is it on Prime too?
I think I watched it on Prime. Yeah.
Oh, okay. I didn't even, well, I should have checked it. I didn't even think about that. Well, yeah. Okay, so you can catch that show on both Amazon Prime and catch it on Netflix. And it's a horror show. It's a scary show. And it is kind of interesting. And she's really good at that part. I mean, she really, she's a creepy little girl. So she goes just not in real life. Actually, she's the sweetest little girl. But in the movie, she plays this creepy little scary girl, and it goes perfectly with the doll room. It really does. I was going to see if Danielle wanted to get on this, but I seen she had been sick. So, but yeah. And then we had another, movie that was shot there. I came out and took pictures and stuff of a lot of that, and it was bones and all. That seems to be like one of those little recent Hollywood topics, cannibalism.
Yeah.
And it's after teenage cannibalism. First time I read it, I was like, wait a minute, I must not have read that right. I read it again. Well, yeah, that's what it's about. I thought about teasing Daryl about that, but here's your lunchroom and everything else. They're talking about teenage cannibalism, but they shot that horror film at the school too. And there's been a lot of TV shows. Was it Ghost Brothers was shot there?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. What else has been shot there that I'm sure you would know?
Oh,
more than
those two. I'm drawing a blank other than those two that you just mentioned. I know Ghost Brothers has been there. Yeah, drawing a blank.
I know Scott and Jenna have done lives there, and I guarantee you guys have probably done lives there. Gosh, now I'm America's Most Haunted.
Yeah, and haunting.
And they say that's the most haunted school in the world is what they rated it.
There's something like Haunting Across America or Haunting Around America, something like that was there too.
You know what? It seems like I do remember that.
BuzzFeed did a big project there where they shot some videos and posted it. It was pretty cool.
Oh, wow. And I know WKRC News, they came and did a which is very rare for them to do that. Yeah, that is what their slogan is. When you leave, you believe. Mm-hmm. And I think that's a pretty good slogan, especially considering that the owner, Daryl, was a skeptic to begin with. And he's, isn't that crazy that lightning? It's just crazy.
That is an actual picture. That is not Photoshopped.
Yeah, that's like...
catch. Really good catch.
I know, right? That is the real deal. Now, here's the stairwell that she fell from, and that is the owner, Daryl, there. Mm-hmm. 50 years from now, he's going to be there. I'm going to tell you. He'll be the one we're picking up. Like, did it just say Daryl?
It has. We have a portal too that we use, not just the spirit box, and it's clear as day, and it says Daryl before.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Wow,
Yeah.
no, I would not be surprised at that. He has a strong energy too, so I could see them being drawn to him. We have another video. We're going to watch that one real quick too,
Okay.
and then we'll go over it, and then we'll start talking about some more of your stuff.
Why is the motion puck going?
There you go. It's closed. So what if he's just
Doing his rounds.
cleaning?
Yeah. Wow.
Oh shit! Dude, that was right in front of us,
When
bro.
you said he's cleaning, it pops open.
Oh my god. Dude, you guys seen that? All you guys just seen that on.
Now, is this the door that Daryl talks about? Is it room 109, or is that a different room?
That's just a janitor's closet.
Oh.
Yeah, that's just a janitor's closet. But that's
I
in
know
the
there's.
same hallway as the room that you're talking about.
Oh, it is?
Mhm.
Huh. And obviously you could see it. They latched the door. I mean, because it has like an actual, it has one of the level, it has a name of it actually, lever doors.
Right.
So it's
Yeah.
not like it's going to pop itself open.
I take that back. It's not 109. That is the janitor's closet that's in the mean teacher's hallway. We call it the mean teacher because there's a room in there that's called the mean teacher's room that's very active.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
You know what? My cousin Brian, actually, he mentioned, it was kind of funny. He's a Baptist-costal is what he calls himself. He's a Baptist-costal preacher. But he was talking about where he went to school there, and he was saying, he told her name too, and I can't remember it. I have to pull it up. But anyway, he said how mean that teacher was. And
we've heard lots of stories.
And he made a good point, which I hadn't thought of. He said maybe there was something there that made her be mean.
That's true. That's a good point. Yeah.
I know. I hadn't really thought about that before. She is. Skydor says, let's watch again. I'm going to get a better video on TikTok. Yeah, they've got quite a few videos. You guys have a lot of videos and stuff too on that. So when he mentioned that, and I got to thinking about it, I mean, it is possible that something else could have been there. It could have even been something that was on the property before the school was built.
Right.
That caused that to happen. A really foul spirit. There's no telling. He's pulled up something here, actually.
Yeah, it looks like that's the actual video on TikTok.
Oh, it sure is.
Mm-hmm.
He's going, should I tap it? Should I not? No. Yeah.
So what if he's just
Doing his rounds.
cleaning?
Yeah. Wow.
Oh shit!
I need to do a disclaimer.
Right.
It pops open.
Adult conversation.
Oh,
And those are
God.
three very grown men.
You guys, you.
Wow. Now I know Daryl had mentioned, and we seen that where he had and if he woke up, if people didn't understand what that said, he woke up at 4:15. Yeah, worse has been said. He woke up at 4:15 in the morning, and he had 4 holes in his head and had blood coming down. I remember when this happened too, and they looked. Matter of fact, I think I ran into them at Burger King. They was telling me about it, but because I was like, "What is going on?" Because he had this thing. I didn't know what had happened, and he had woke up injured. And they completely searched the room. He woke up on all fours on the floor, and had the 4 holes in his head and was bleeding and stuff. And they looked all over the room. He said he checked to see. What he told me, he checked to see if maybe there was somewhere he might have bent down and hit his head on something. And they checked everywhere in the room. There wasn't anything that matched it. Now I know on the video, Daryl had mentioned that each time the door opens in room 109, it seems like he ends up getting injured or something happens to him. What else has happened with that?
We've been fortunate and haven't had that door open on us yet. But I do have a really interesting story that I was giving a tour to a group that was coming in. There was about 6 of them, and I mentioned that door to the group about how it's very difficult to open, and if it does happen to open in the middle of the night, to just be aware, or maybe even call one of us or call Daryl, because bad things tend to happen when that door opens. I yanked on that door, could not budge it. A man in the group yanked on that door, could not budge it. But this little girl in the group walked over and it opened right up for her. She shut the door back. I said, well, thanks for making me a liar. Walked over, yanked on the door, could not open it. The guy tried again, could not open it. And then the girl opened it right up again.
Wow.
Yeah. So that was pretty wild.
I know I've seen them have to kick the door to get it to open up because it wedges in there.
Yeah. You can't.
Wow.
But it opened for her. There was something about her. I don't know, some connection to her that spirit must have liked or didn't like, one or the other, but it let her open that door.
I wonder what caused that. That's interesting.
Yeah, it was very interesting. I
I watched.
was really quiet about it after that. We just kind of kept on with the tour because I'd never experienced that and I was baffled.
And she just, wow. Now, wow. That is, which room is that one?
It is if you walk in, we call it the event room now. It's 2 classrooms that we took out the middle wall to, and it's just one big room. It's hard to explain where it's at. The school's so wonky.
So it's first floor?
It's to the right of where Daryl and Brenda live. If you go up the little stairs. If you go
so it would be that would kind of technically be the first floor since the basement and the gymnasium go downward.
Yeah.
So that would have been like the younger kids classes, like the first graders and the kindergartners and stuff.
Yeah, that's what we've been told,
so so maybe that's why there was some sort of a recognition that is why it went ahead and opened up the door for a younger kid like that, maybe.
Yeah, it was pretty interesting.
That is curious. Yeah, that is curious that happened. See, there's things that happen in like real time, just stuff that you can't really.
Right.
Steve Webb said it's by the memorial wall.
Yeah, Steve is one of our POV members, by the way. Steve
Webb. Okay. I didn't even know that. Hello, Steve.
Yeah. He is actually our skeptic. He is the engineer on our group, and he is the best debunker there is.
Good. And you know what? I really like the fact that the crews out there, there's some don't, but there are starting to be a lot more. But the crews that get out there and they actually research, they want to debunk it. They don't want to say that everything, was like, there goes a beetle. Oh, there's an orb. It's like every single thing is not paranormal because the chances of catching something paranormal is pretty slim unless there's just immense activity. And there really is. There's immense activity at that school. I know I watched our producer said, I'm trying to get the information to load. It seems this is Sarah's homeroom, according to Mysterypedia. Okay, cool. Okay, so the room that the door just opened up on, then possibly the one that's there by the memorial wall might be her homeroom. Wow, that's really interesting. I would love to know that. I know I was watching Jenna and Scott Investigates, and they were doing a live down in the gymnasium. And they had a constant flow of conversation that was going on. And I've seen quite a few other people that's went there. So that area seems to be very active also. Have you guys picked up things with POV?
Oh, yeah. In the gym, we have a little robot. It's pretty cool. We call him Mip. And on the front of him is a little sensor. So if something gets close to him, he'll follow you. Or then when you back away, when you get close, he moves away. And when you he follows you. And in the gym, there's a circle in the middle of the gym floor, like most gymnasiums, the basketball court.
Yeah, the basketball court, yeah.
And we put a ball right center in the middle of that thing, and then Mip slowly just went around that circle. So we thought that was pretty cool. We get the balls rolling, a lot of the kids giggling, laughing, whistling, the sound of,
They had whistling.
Yeah, we get a lot
Jen
of
and Scott
whistling.
had whistling now that I think about
Tons
it.
of whistling for some reason. We think it might be janitors, maybe doing work and whistling.
That is something that people even did a lot back then. I whistle, but it's because my grandma took care of me a lot and she whistled. So I think I decided I was going to, boy, my mouth was like so sore. I eventually learned how to do it. So that might be what it is. Probably janitors and people of that age, maybe people from the train too,
Yeah, could be. Yeah.
in that era. Wow. So you've had a lot of activity there.
Mm-hmm.
I know in the gym, I also seen, they set up some of the cat balls.
Yeah.
And they went off and they had sensor lights. And I noticed a lot of the sensor lights kept going off. And they had a lot of activity with that too. So something had to be triggering all those lights.
Yeah. Balls. Anything type of toy gets a lot of attention in the gymnasium.
Does it really?
Yes.
So, see, to me, that's not going to be just, I mean, if it was, to me, it seems to me like there would be a larger you do get activity with different stuff, but with it being a lot of toys and stuff like that, it would seem like it might even be younger children. They just,
right.
They're in that area still stuck or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
There was what was it? It was somebody trying to think of what it was that they were doing, and it was they were in like a hallway. No, it has to be a hallway somewhere by it. Is there like a hallway or is there an underneath of the stairs somewhere in that area?
There's a janitor's room that's underneath the stairs that has like a lot of pipes and things like that. There's a boiler room too.
Both of those actually. But the first one that you mentioned under the stairs, that's what I watched a video, and those people, they had a lot of activity and it seemed to be kind of angry.
Yes.
And it seems like, okay, that was what I was watching. So has anybody figured out or identified who that might be or what that might be?
Yes, we believe it's a janitor whose name was Amos, who was there for years. He was believed to be an alcoholic, and that was his little area back in the back of that room. He had like a little work area back there. And it seems like every experience we have tends to be a little more on the angry side with him.
Oh, wow. Yeah, what is it with the janitors? Everybody, it's always that. You usually do get that with a lot of the schools. And then when people do the research on it, it turns out that it's actually true.
Mm-hmm.
It's like that whole Nightmare on Elm Street situation.
Right. And that's exactly what the boiler room looks like, the Nightmare on Elm Street.
Does it really? See, I haven't really seen any of that because I've been to all the other areas, but I haven't been in there. Does it really?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's small, but it's creepy. There was actually at one time Daryl had a haunted house in there, and he had a man go in there dressed as Freddy Krueger. The man went in, stood in the back of the boiler, and he said something grabbed him. He ran out and refused to ever go back in the school.
Really?
Yes.
But you know what? I've had two other people that have had like physical. I heard somebody they were tugged on.
Mm-hmm.
They like their shirt and stuff was tugged on, and Steve said Amos area
Mm-hmm.
that they were tugged on, and I know of somebody else that said that they were pushed.
Yes, pushing, tugged. Hair pulling is a big thing too for women.
Really?
Yes.
Huh.
I don't know if it's kids that are intrigued with women's hair, but a lot. If you have a ponytail, it's probably getting pulled.
I bet that it is. I bet that it is. I know. He said, I think POV. Yeah, that would be a good idea. Actually, we were going to go there and go live tonight. So we were going to do a live there. He says, I think POV Paranormal should join Skydor family and do a live investigation and a weekly podcast. He said that'd be a great show. They've got one in the works. Kathy said, I think all boiler rooms are creepy. They probably are. God love them. Now, see, if I wouldn't be the creepy, mean janitor guy. I would be sitting there waiting for something to go on. And I guess in the meantime, I don't know. I guess you could be playing with your Xbox or something. But it's like, why can't there just be the guy whittling his apple and the real nice, janitor,
Right.
the nice janitor image type thing.
Right.
I know a lady kept picking up it was women that was in the paranormal search. They picked up, I guess it would have been like a lunch lady or somebody that was serving lunch.
Mm-hmm.
And they picked her up a few times.
There's a room downstairs.
What if it was
in the
Ghost
basement.
Sisters or it had to be somebody it was doing. I can't remember who it was.
There's the dry goods room is very active. It's this dark room, no windows. It's just cinder block where they would store the dry foods. But the lunch lady also had it as her office. And we get a lot of activity in there. And we've actually, through our portal, asked what the first meal served was and very clearly got the word chili. And we know for a fact that the very first meal served at the school was chili from one of the former teachers that Brian and Tracy were able to interview.
Wow.
Yes.
So I mean, there's no denying that one. So they see that's the part that I like about it, when something can be confirmed, because I do like a lot, the mediumship and psychic, and it's like you feel it, and you know yourself that something is true. But for somebody that is like a third party, or that's doesn't have any motivation, for them to confirm it, it's just something that just helps you to, I don't know how to, it almost makes it more enjoyable. It takes the weight off of it versus the like, wow, I just had that experience, but like, does people think I'm crazy that I had this experience? And then you get this confirmation, like somebody's like, no, actually the first meal they had was chili. So explain about like the different tours and stuff that they do and that's available for people to take into the school. Like say if I have my, which we do it, but let's say if we wanted to book and come into the school and stuff, what type of tours and stuff do they have available, and how does it work?
You can book through the website, posttownschool.com. You can book a day historical tour where I will give you just the historical info. I will also give you paranormal info if you want it, but some people absolutely don't want it. You can do a flashlight tour where I give you a tour through the school at night where we just use flashlights. Or you can book your overnight investigation from 7 p.m. to 7 a.m. where you come in, I give you a quick tour of the school, or one of my team members, POV, will be there to give you a quick tour. And then we set you free and you use your own ghost hunting equipment and you hunt ghosts till 7 a.m. or until you get too scared and leave. One or the
other. They do. And apparently from some of the things that I've watched, people even, I've seen them take their equipment outside on the grounds of the playground equipment, because the playground equipment is still there.
Yes.
And yeah, I've seen them do readings and picked up voices and stuff on the playground equipment and stuff. So yeah, that's too funny. He's picking up on my thoughts. Deana asked, or the Godfather, he asked, what was your biggest oh shit moment while investigating the school? And I was getting ready to ask that, so that's kind of cool.
Oh, there's been so many.
Or several of them.
I'll tell you, one of the coolest is we have a clear EVP from the in the cafeteria area of the group of kids singing Happy Birthday, the song. You hear the end of it, Happy Birthday to you. It's so clear. We didn't hear it, but we heard it when we listened back. So that was pretty cool. And it's a group of kids. It's not just one kid. Hearing the screams that you just can't. Oh, we just had a big oh shit moment. We caught someone who sounded like Daryl singing in the hallways, and it was not
Daryl. Doesn't sing.
No, it was not Daryl. Daryl was in the kitchen with Tracy and myself, and Brian and Ernie were up just doing a walkthrough. We walked through to make sure, there's no leaks or stray animals or whatever. And they thought Daryl was up there singing, and it was not Daryl. He was in the kitchen with us.
Wow. So that would be going towards poltergeist type activity. If something is, because of course we know things are being moved, but usually when they do like a mimic of voices, that does usually tend to lean towards more of a poltergeist type activity when they're mimicking voices.
Yeah, and it tends to be mimicking us more often. It's mimicked me. It mimicked Ernie to Brian just a few days ago. Brian was downstairs in the basement in Amos's area, which is down under the stairs, and Ernie was all the way upstairs. I think he was in the doll room. He was definitely on the third floor, and Brian said he heard Ernie yelling, calling out for him. And
Wow.
and he kept yelling back but wouldn't get a response, and went to look for Ernie and found him sitting in a chair on the 3rd floor. And my husband can't move that fast. I love him, but he wouldn't go up 3 floors that fast.
He was moving pretty fast when that door popped open.
That's true.
Kathy made an absolutely wonderful point, and I keep journals on my stuff. That way, if something happens, I debunk it. But this would be great to keep a memo of this. She said, "I wonder if you could pick up the kids singing that you guys picked up on the box." She said, "I wonder if you can. Did you get it on a voice recorder or a box? How did that?"
It was on a voice recorder. So
A voice recorder?
We have it loaded on a computer. We keep all of our stuff on a hard drive, so we could look and see what date it was. And
Smart idea.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that's what she just said. She goes, "I wonder if you could pick that up every year on that day at that time."
That's a good. Well, we'll check into that.
That's
sure.
a good goal. I would check on that goal. She goes, "I wonder if grumpy teacher can cause poltergeist activity." Yeah, they can. But even something that I thought was really interesting, that poltergeists are a little bit different. They are actually they're more of an entity of themselves, and I think that kind of goes in a little bit more of what my cousin was explaining, is that maybe something was causing her to be grumpy, or it might not have been something at the school that was causing her to be grumpy, but it could have been something that was attached to her that she brought to the school, and then when she because I'm sure the longevity of the school probably outlived her, maybe, or at least she retired or something prior to then. I really don't know what age it is that she was. I know my cousin Brian, he kind of grew up with my dad. Brian's he's probably in his early 60s would be my guess. So whatever age group that would put him in the years, I would say he probably would have went to elementary school there in probably the 50s or 60s, probably in the 60s, like late 50s, early 60s. So whoever that teacher was at that time, she would have aged out. They said, "Did anybody interview Ruth E. Slade?"
Yes. Brian and Tracy, that was the teacher I was talking about earlier. Miss Slade actually lived to be 104 years old. And before she passed, Brian and Tracy did have the pleasure of sitting down and interviewing her. And
Really?
she's the one who told them about Sarah and the chili being the first meal. Yeah. They were very fortunate to have that experience. She has now passed, but
She has passed.
Yeah.
Well, I guess if we knew how long she lived to be, I guess that was kind of a common sense question. I should have. The women in my family lived to be that age too. I was actually looking here in this Mrs. Turner. That's her name. He said, because my cousin got to tour the school. He happened to be down from Michigan, and Brenda and Daryl let him go through the school. And he says, "I've been thinking about the mean teacher I told you about at Postown Elementary." He's probably like, "What's she doing reading my messages?" It's nothing bad, and nothing private. He says, "I do believe she was definitely influenced by a menacing spirit. I'm thinking the next time I'm in town about going," he was going to get in touch with them. I explained to him that, Daryl's sick right now. He said, Brenda asked if I felt anything, and I told her no. He said, the memories until I got to the 3rd floor. So he didn't feel anything until he got to the 3rd floor. And he said, near Mrs. Turner's old class. So Mrs. Turner is the one that's the name of the bad teacher.
So that's interesting, because we've had other people tell us of the same room with different teacher names and refer to them as being mean as well.
Wow. So he might be.
Room?
Yeah, so maybe it's a menacing spirit in that room that was affecting those women.
Right. Yeah.
And that does happen. I mean, that just, I hate to refer back. Actually, a funny thing is I was referring to that Phoenix earlier. One example that many people know of, but I mean, this isn't, well, yeah, I mean, it was based on, but just like the movie The Shining, where you have somebody that goes into a place, a location, and you're working there day in, day out, day in, day out. Slowly, that can start imprinting on you, and it does start taking control. All it does, it has to find little permissions to where it works itself into you, and takes over control. Well, with those teachers working at that school day in and day out, that's very possible what happened if it's been different teachers' names, because this one was Mrs. Turner he had. And if there was other teachers, especially if they were all within that same that same school, the area of that school, I mean, it could have been, and it may even be the poltergeist activity that's affecting her. Um, he said 105 years in Middletown, Ohio. He said knew a lot. She would have seen a lot. I guarantee that one, because let me tell you, my older grandmas, and when you talk about the First Church of God Baptist Costal and all of them being Boy Scout troop leaders, yeah, they knew everybody and everybody's business and everything else.
Right.
And all those teachers went to church.
Yeah. And Miss Slade actually taught at one of the one-room schoolhouses and went from the one-room schoolhouse to the new school.
Did she really?
Yes.
I wonder what school that was, because my cousin bought the old West Side Pizza location. It's now Laughs 2.
Yeah.
And it's on 122. That used to be a one-room school. Jackie Ritter. She's my cousin, and she was telling me. A matter of fact, I mentioned to her, and we're talking about going ahead and doing a. When I do my stuff, I usually do like a private instead of doing it on the recordings and stuff like that, because I do a lot of the research and stuff. But I'm thinking about maybe doing that one live if she does it. But they've experienced activity there in the basement area. And so she sent me the videos. Their orbs are definitely orbs. It's in the basement. It's not a bug. It's not dust. Besides, she's a cleanaholic, and it is a restaurant. But I mean, you can actually see the movement of the orbs, and the one just sits there and it just lingers.
Right.
I mean, it just sits there and hangs and lingers, and then it goes and does a few more things. Frank Bush, he works. Actually, he's been a cook for hers for years. He was a cook at the Germantown location that they have, and he has came and helped them with the opening of the second location. And the jukebox has came on there, and he's seen and heard a few things. And how she knew about the orbs and the other things is through her security system.
Oh, yeah.
And so I guess the lights and something else happened. And of course, her being the owner, she's like, well, what's going on there? So I guess they checked it out, and they actually caught it, recorded on the video. Matter of fact, I'll end up forwarding it to you and let you see some of it.
That's cool.
Carmel Allen said, I have been here before. We captured the children laughing through the walkie-talkies. They kept talking to us. Okay, so she's been up through Post Town School and picked up on the kids laughing and things. She said so through the walkie-talkie. So that's even a different type of frequency that they're picking up on.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we've had voices come through our walkie-talkies when we use them that we don't recognize who the people are. It's not not the six of us. And we've a lot of walkie-talkie voices.
Wow. And actually, I'm going to ask you guys if you'd like to like and to follow, and be sure to hit that like button and stuff. That way I use it to gauge having guests back. But I think she's got so much information. And POV, they are going to come back and share their videos and stuff on another show that we have. With it being the walkie-talkies and stuff, that's interesting. So you're getting captures on the voice recorders. You're getting captures on the AM/FM scan, which is the spirit box and ink boxes, and you're getting it on walkie-talkies. Mm-hmm. And all of those operate on different frequencies.
Mm-hmm.
Wow, that's pretty fascinating. That's pretty fascinating. Now, I know where they had the school buses, didn't they? I know they had the main school bus area was up there on the hill for Post Town and stuff like that. But now when they started the school, I guess it was all cars. And they probably didn't have school buses and stuff like that. And I've heard people mention lights at night. And are they seeing, or would it be the train, or what is it that I'm hearing where people are saying that they've seen lights, I guess, on the back of the property somewhere?
Oh, I have heard people think they see an orb type thing out on the playground.
Oh, okay.
So maybe that's it, but that's all I've heard about outside. And
that's probably what it was.
The swings have started to move by themselves when there's no wind, and there's two swings out there, and they'll be moving in two different directions, and things like that happen with the playground.
Oh, wow. See, that fascinates me, even just doing the land. checking out the land and all of that. We're coming up on the end of our podcast, which is kind of a bummer because I love hearing all this stuff. Jamie and her team, POV Paranormal, they will be returning on a future podcast, and we're going to get a good look at some of their videos and have them explain, behind the scenes or behind the veil, as we call it, the debunking that they've done or things that they have confirmed on the video. A lot of times we see videos, but we don't see all the work that goes into making that video. And then the sitting down and reviewing hours and hours and hours and hours. People don't realize how many hours of video that you have to, review to really, and you may only find 3 or 4 things. You may not find a single solitary thing. And then sometimes you may find a ton of stuff that popped off at one time. Does there seem to be like a time period that seems to be more active around Post Town?
We haven't pinpointed that yet because we'll go one night and it'll be active nonstop. Go back another night and we won't get anything. But it does seem to calm down or die out around 3 a.m., maybe even 2 a.m. And
really?
Yeah, which is when most people think that things pick up, but they're
to
calm down.
Wonder why it is at that time period.
Not always, but in general, it seems to be that way. Sometimes it's nonstop. I tend to find the most activity when I'm just there during the day doing paperwork or cleaning or whatever. I'll hear things constantly.
And a lot of people, and that is a thing. That's neat that you did mention that. So many people think that you have to sit in the dark at night, and it has to be the basement. So you have to sit in the dark at night in the basement to pick something up. Yeah, and you could pick something up in the middle of the day, in the middle of the sunshine, and everything else is going on. And especially, I guarantee it, the upper floors on that one. And it doesn't have to be the attic either. But yeah, they don't discriminate what time of day or weather and different stuff like that that's active. It does seem like sometimes rain does seem to make things more active, but it would just depend on who it is. More bodies in a school during the day, more energy to feed off of, more time the spirits are used to. It's routine. Yes, I do agree with that too. That then they would be used to it being routine because it's daytime. That's when they would have had school activities and stuff there. And I think, especially if you're there during the daytime when it would have been a regularly scheduled time that they would be there by yourself, that's that much less people, because sometimes they go through them. There's so many people when you're watching an investigation and this person's over here carrying on a conversation, they're carrying on, it's just so much confusion for the ghosts, or I wouldn't say ghosts, but the energies and stuff to even come through. I think sometimes being by yourself, that's when most people usually see something.
Right. I think when you're by yourself, they get more of a kick out of it.
Yeah, I know. Or they get more of a creep out of it. Like, oh my gosh, why am I here by myself? Hey, thank you, Kathy. Kathy said, thank you, Jamie and Deana. Another great show. As a matter of fact, I'm going to give you guys a heads up. Next week, we have a fantastic guest. Her name is Marsha K. Moore. She's just, I don't even know how to explain it. I collect a lot of artwork. Well, as you can see, you probably can't see it unless I move it. I collect artwork and stuff. And a very collectible artist. And she's at the top of her field. She makes she's been on Ancient Aliens. She just now has an article, and actually I think the front cover too, of ancient ancestors. A lot of the professional fields, they reach out to her for reconstructions for cryptids, for the forest people, or sometimes AKA Sasquatch or Bigfoot. She did the Paracas, if you've seen the Ancient Alien episode of the Paracas elongated skulls. And it's where the people have the longer skulls. She did the reconstruction for those that was on there that they refer to. And it's just, I could just go on and on and on the different things that she's working on. I'm humbled at how very good that she is. And her family, with her, it has like a Native American connection, which is, going back into a lot of that. Hey, Teresa. Hello, Kentucky. With a lot of the Native American influence and stuff that she had growing up, she used that to lean into her research. I think that I don't know about you, Jamie, but it seems to me like a lot of the influence in North America, it seems like we do have a lot of Native American influence with at least some of our investigation teams, but it seems like a lot of the properties have that too. Do you think so?
Yes, I think it's because of the deep spiritual connection that the Native Americans have with the land. That's my belief.
That's a good analysis. I think I would agree with that too. Actually, where Teresa's from, she's down in like the Red River Gorge area, and there's tons. I mean, absolutely tons of activity in Native American. Probably he's telling her. Oh yes, I should have said that. They all of these are recorded. So if anybody ever wants to go back, they can go back and review the different information and stuff in there. Teresa said, I'm going back and watch. She said, Post Town has my heart. Yeah, she attended all 4 years at Post Town herself. And it seems to me like I think she remembered having an experience. Did you say you had an experience that was on the stairwell, Teresa? If you could type it out, okay, she's more like in the Cumberland Lake area. Oh, that's why my parents had their honeymoon. Well, their later honeymoon. Did you say you had an experience that was in the stairwell, Teresa? I don't know if you were able to type it that fast. I am the slowest typer on earth. The ink box has already said 15 other things by the time I can respond and say what I heard it say. It takes me. Yeah, she said yes, it was in the stairwell. I thought it was. So that seems to be probably, I guess, the most active area of the school.
The stairwell and then that mean teacher's hallway, two of the most active, definitely.
Oh, so the whole hallway, not just the. I know you can hear like the
hallway.
intercom turning on and off in that room, but the whole hallway has activity.
Yes, it seems whichever end of the hallway you're on, there's something happening at the other end of the hallway. They know, and they like to play their little games.
Really? What do they do?
You'll see shadows. You'll hear like the foot squeaks on a floor. You know how a foot will squeak like in a gym
Oh,
floor.
yeah, tennis shoes.
Yeah, you'll hear that, the giggling, whistling, and we've caught shadow figures coming in and out of the rooms, and it always seems to happen on the opposite end of the hallway that you're on.
Wow. I was going to end up sharing that when Teresa said, and the custodian. So you had experiences, or you could feel a bleed in from the energy of the custodian, I'm assuming.
Is that what she's saying? She could feel the.
Yeah, she said, and the custodian is all that it says, though, is and the custodian. I guess she experienced something from the custodian. And Steve Webb mentioned the locker doors. That's something. Yeah, and since he mentioned that, what happened there?
But you just hear locker doors opening and shutting constantly, slamming.
Wow. And you know what? That's interesting because when you mentioned about the little girl, the door that you guys tried to pull open and couldn't get open, how you adults tried to get it, and then she walked out and just opened it up. For some reason, and I do remember this was lockers on a back wall. There were kids that would, for some reason, they would try to get their lockers open and the lockers wouldn't open. But there was other times that, the kids would go there and it's like, who was in my locker? And nobody had been in the locker, but the locker door had been left open.
Yeah.
Teresa said, yeah, they do. Now, Teresa said she felt a lot in it's custodian's work area. She felt a lot in his work area. And then beginning of the cafeteria. I heard somebody else say that too.
We do get
now,
we get a lot in the cafeteria, but that seems to be new. When we first started investigating there 3 or 4 years ago as POV, we didn't have a lot of activity in the cafeteria, but lately we've had a lot.
I wonder if you guys have brought enough energy there for it to start manifesting.
Well, we believe that with all the people coming and going, other teams too, that it does contribute to that. That's our belief. And
stirring it up. I know someone had told me, and I think Teresa might have also. No, actually, it was Melanie. They had told me that while they were waiting in the stairwell, because you would have to line up, the children would have to line up on the stairwell to go into lunch for the cafeteria. So where they would do like their line to go into lunch was on the stair where Sarah fell. And a lot of the kids said that they have felt like energy or felt themselves be pushed, or like you mentioned, the hair pulling and their clothes tugged on while they were in that stairwell.
Yeah, that would make sense. It all adds up. Definitely.
Yep. That's where she fell. And she said Yes, that was me. Okay, so you did feel it too, and I know Melanie said that she did. Yeah, so Teresa said that. Yeah, she had firsthand experience of being on the stairwell, well, Sarah's stairwell, and being either pushed or her hair pulled or something like that. Wow. Now, did Daryl, if I remember right, didn't he say that I guess they had experienced some things that had gotten knocked off the desks? I don't know if it was in their quarters or if it was somewhere else, or maybe I've knocked off the tables.
I don't recall him specifically, but I know it happens all over in the school. We see things fall, get knocked over, or we hear things fall. That you hear things more than see things, that's for sure. Because then you'll
Wow.
run to see what it is, and you'll see something laying on the floor, so you know that it had to have fallen.
Yeah, and as big as that place is, it's kind of hard to be. You can't be everywhere at once.
Right, right.
Yeah, you can't really do that. So I'm going to have you again explain to everybody where they can reach out and how they can contact you guys to book the school and come do any of the visits at the school or do an investigation. Oh, and it is an overnight investigation, right?
Yes, 7 8. You get the school to yourself from 7 p.m. to 7 a.m. with the exception of Daryl lives there, but it's separated from the school. I meet you there, or one of the team members from POV will meet you there and give you a quick tour just so you know where you're going, and then we set you free.
And is this bring your own equipment?
Yes,
or do they
yes.
rent equipment? Okay, bring your own equipment.
Mhm.
And I seen they have T-shirts and they have a lot of different things there that you can pick up while you're there. And they have walls. And once Daryl started believing this, they have just full-on walls of I don't know how many teams that leave their cards or their information or their pictures and stuff in there that's investigated it. Any guess? Even now, there's probably no guess. Is there any guess how many teams have been through there?
I couldn't even begin to guess.
Yeah, ages worth, really, ages worth.
Right.
Some of these people have aged out too. I mean, they've been there long enough. Their kids could have been at elementary school and graduated just about. I know it was in the what was it? It was the 90s, 94, 93, 94, 95 is when my daughter went. My stepson right before that. She said, I'm so glad they never knocked it down. So glad for Daryl. I agree, Teresa. He was going to the old McGee store that was there next to that and had seen it. And I guess he must have went back to Brenda. I know originally what they had planned on doing is they had planned on opening that up for a homeless shelter. And they were going to use that and use it really to do like ministry work and help people in different things. And then I guess the haunted just kind of took over.
Well, the city wouldn't give the permits for that either.
Oh, okay. So I didn't know that. So that's part of it too. Yeah, I thought so. And then I know then he had a couple of different incidents that happened with him. And then the employee that seen, I guess it was a ghost or something that the employee saw that was in there.
It was
So
I was a maintenance man type of guy. Yeah.
Oh, that's what he saw?
No, that's who it was who saw the ghost. It was like a maintenance man type of guy doing work for Daryl.
Oh, was it? That's what I was thinking. And Teresa said she went there in 1973. Now, I'm going to have you come back and, I'll have to plug into my phone. It says private message, but my phone is going to have to be logged in to do that. No, there's not anything on there. I don't say Deana private message. I don't know why it's saying that because there's not anything there. I don't know. You have to explain to me what. Oh, there he is.
When Teresa was talking, I messaged you like 15 minutes ago. Do you want to send her an invite so that she could come on and tell what she dealt with?
Oh, hey, Teresa, do you want to come on real quick? She may say, I'm not ready for that. I know I was sitting there the other night in my bedclothes.
She could
so Teresa went.
Not show her face, can't she?
Yeah, she can. Actually, Teresa, do you want to do a voiceover? It was 74, 75, and 76. Okay, so she went there while I was at Central and was at Wildwood. She said I would, but I have hair color on. Oh, look at you. Yeah, she's multitasking. She said, sure. Now, which one is the sure? Voiceover?
We can do her with a voiceover. You want to go ahead and go down to invite and
Yeah,
send
let me
her
grab
an
her.
invite, and I'll get her in and make sure the camera's off. I'll do my magic in the background.
It's not going to take me to it.
Surprise, Jamie, you're on the spot. If you want to, she will be back. She's operating on her phone. If you want to talk about POV, where people can find you guys,
Okay.
what you've experienced out there at Post Town, things like that, and we'll wait for them to kick back in.
Okay. POV, we do have a YouTube website you can go to. We have a TikTok that's got lots of videos. We have a Facebook page, so it's just POV Paranormal. So you can go all those places. We have lots of stuff there. We do open investigations at Post Town from time to time, where we actually will investigate with you and let you use our equipment. So if you don't have equipment and you just want to dip your toe in the water and check that out, just follow our Facebook page and we'll post when we're going to do the next one. That's one of the options. We're getting ready to go to
Okay.
Mansfield Prison in
Hey,
March.
T,
sorry,
I
go ahead.
went ahead. T, look at your messenger. I sent you, I had to do it on Messenger. I sent you a copy to an invite link. Just tap on the messenger and he'll take it from there. Now, you said you were doing Mansfield?
We're doing Mansfield Prison. This will be like the third or fourth time we've been there. We're taking a few friends along with us this time, though. So non-ghost hunting folk will be going along with us. I do believe that's March 5th. And we usually go live on TikTok whenever we go and investigate places.
I will watch that one. That one has the upper racks. That one has a lot of angry, violent. It actually has evil activity there. Make sure you anoint yourself before you go on. Teresa, did you get her? Teresa, I sent you a link through your messenger.
Just follow the link, click on it, put your name in. It'll bring you right into the studio, and then I'll do everything on the backside.
I think she should be now. And I seen you guys have been to oh gosh, where have I not seen you guys? Give us some of the places that POV goes to, because POV is going to do a podcast with us here too.
I do believe we're up to 33 places now. We've been all over. We've been to Mansfield numerous times. We've been to Waverly, Pennhurst, let's see, Madison Seminary. We've been to Randolph County.
Waverly's very active.
Waverly is one of my favorite places that we have.
Yeah, it is. So you think it was one of your favorite places?
Definitely. The building is beautiful, spectacular, and one of my oh crap moments happened there, and a lot of activity. Doesn't disappoint.
So what was your oh crap moment there?
Well, we were being bombarded. Tracy and I were being bombarded by bats, and so
oh yeah,
bats, thousands and thousands of bats. Well, I don't know what made me think if I stepped inside a room that there would be no bats inside the room, but so I stepped inside this room and I heard a growl, the most awful growl, and then almost like something was crawling across the floor in the gravel and was coming after me and Tracy. And
oh wow,
we just grabbed each other and we could physically feel each other shaking. We were so scared. And at the same time, the REM pod was going off at one end of the hallway. Our music box was going off at another end of the hallway. And Brian's phone just automatically overheated and shut off because he was on TikTok Live. It was just
wow.
Like everything went crazy. Yeah.
Wow. Even it overheated. Now that's intense.
Yeah.
Wow, that is pretty intense. Now, what different types of equipment and stuff, and I was going to give her a chance to figure out. Are you still there, T? She might be washing her hair. I don't know. If not, we'll go ahead and finish this up and stuff like that. So what type of equipment and things are you guys using at Post Town? What seems to get the most activity?
Our portal. Some people call it a gateway. Some people call it a portal. It's an old-fashioned radio that I can't think of his name, and I'm sorry that I can't think of his name. It's a guy in Columbus converts into almost like a spirit box, but they put like a guitar pedal that cuts out the reverb, so it's just clear as day. It's as if we're having a conversation.
Okay. Actually, I was wondering about that. I just seen somebody in I'm trying to think. It's a group of people I know in England, and they have one that gets rid of the distortion like that.
Yeah.
Okay,
Wow.
so we now have Teresa in the background. Are we ready to introduce her to the show?
Yeah. Hey, you guys know Teresa Baker. What is that name?
I know.
Hey, Teresa.
Like, do you know the Baker man?
Yeah, dude. Hey, can you hear us, Teresa? T.
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear. Hey, babe.
Awesome. Took me a minute, sorry, to figure that out. But yeah, it's Teresa Baker. There's a baker.
Yeah, she's a baker. So Teresa, she went to the Madison schools and she attended Post Town School. What were some of the experiences that you had as a student attending there or afterward?
Well, as a student, not so much because I really didn't. Honestly, some things stand out. Like I can remember some things, but nothing really that I knew was paranormal. At the time because I was a kid and just kindergarten to fourth. But I do remember like eerie feelings, especially I hated going to lunch because of the wait line there going down the having to wait in the steps, down those steps, and then go down into that. It was just spooky going down into the cafeteria in the basement, and just things like that. And then, but I had more when I went there and visited with Daryl one time. He let me come in by myself and go through and look, and it was awesome seeing the place after so many years, and it looking pretty much the same as it did. But I had to deal with the door there at the bottom when you. Yeah.
What happened?
That would not open as well. Like it was completely stuck. Like it would not budge. And then my son was with me, and just barely touched it, and it opened up.
Wow.
Then,
so there's confirmation of that.
Then in the I had a really and for the life of me, I'm stuck on stupid right now. That next to the principal's
it's
office,
those chemicals on your head.
Right, the acid rain today. I tried to stay inside. But we had the I can't think of what they called them back then, but kind of counselor people. Her name was Pamela. Wow, I can't even believe I remember that much. But anyway, that it was right next to the principal's office. That was a really weird vibe in there to me too, as well. Do you know where I'm talking about?
It's the only classroom on that floor. Was it the classroom or was it the room next to the classroom? There's a principal's office, then there's a classroom, and then
that little room.
Yes.
Yeah, it's a little room that you would go into to get counseled, or people that had like maybe learning disabilities or certain things like that would go in there and stuff like
that hallway itself is creepy. It's the narrowest, darkest, gloomiest hallway.
Yeah.
Oh, that's like the faculty hallway or the teacher hallway, the real skinny one.
That's the one we're talking. The principal's office is in there. It's really strangely positioned.
That and the music room.
Yeah, the music room is great.
I love the music room when I was there.
That's the doll room now. Yeah.
Yeah, love it. Yeah. But there was
creepy
one
doll
room that we went to that had the big like punching bags hanging from the ceiling.
We call
it still there now?
We got rid of everything out of that room. We cleaned it out. Yeah, that guy left and never came back. He had an experience and left all of his stuff there, but we did clean it out.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, me and my son definitely had experience in that room. I tell people, they don't believe me. They think, oh, it's the ceiling or whatever. But it's like we sat there. We were in that room for probably about an hour, and the bags would really start going in a circular motion.
Yeah,
and start swinging and like answering questions and things for us.
Almost like a pendulum.
Yeah.
Wow. Now, as somebody that does martial arts, I know how heavy those bags are and how balanced they are. They don't just start moving themselves.
Right.
Right. No. Unless somebody pushed them or something's going on, the energy. But
and of course, that building being as sound as it is too, there's no way in the world there's no flexing in the ceiling or the beams or anything else that's hung on either. There's nothing that's going to be moving those bags.
Right. And it wasn't just one of the bags, there was, I don't know, was there like 3 or something, 3 or 4?
Yeah, one time there was like at least 3 hanging across there. Yeah.
Right.
Oh my gosh. Now,
custodian, I'm sorry. The custodian part I wanted to kind of explain because I also have a fractured wrist. So I'm like one-handed. So I was typing like there. But the custodian thing I'm talking about is at the kind of like under the stairwell, kind of like when you go, if I'm thinking correctly, you're like downstairs by the cafeteria,
behind the
under the
stage.
stairwell, and it's back in
Mm-hmm.
there.
Mm-hmm.
That's and I remember his name was or he lived in Catalina, really bad alcoholic, but everybody loved him, but it seemed like there was I felt like him there for some reason. Something in there. I don't know if it I don't know, it was weird.
Yeah, definitely. We've had his name come across the spirit box in there. And
really?
Yeah.
Is it begin with an R?
It was Amos.
Amos. Okay. I was thinking, is there somebody with an R? Like I want to say, I don't know. But I love that place.
Now, what was you saying? What were you saying that you felt that was like in the counselor room? You said you felt something that was kind of strange there.
I felt like I didn't want to be in there at all. That's
really?
All I know. Yeah.
See, the room she's talking about was also used at one time for another janitor's closet, and we have stories of this janitor not liking women, and a lot of women get their hair pulled and get tugged or pinched or and we call him Lou.
Wow.
Lou.
See,
that's who I was thinking of.
That's
Lou.
who she's thinking of, Lou.
Yeah,
Lou.
Wow.
And then I know because personally I got swats there once, and the teachers, maybe that's why I didn't want to be in there. Got PTSD.
Only once?
Yeah, for chewing gum.
Oh, come on. That's ridiculous.
I was chewing gum in class. How things have changed.
You'd be amazed. Well, yeah, exactly. You talk about change. Billy, Billy, your aunt-in-law, Billy and I got SWATs together. But Billy Joe Mullins. Do you know her,
that does
Teresa?
Not surprise me.
That sounds familiar.
I'll tell you what. This was, I kid you not, when we got SWATs, this was like a skit straight out of the Brady Bunch. I had drawn this picture. Okay. And I know I shouldn't have put it on there, whatever, but I drew this picture and we had a mean teacher and it was at Central School and her name was Mrs. Stanley. So at that time, the commercial Stanley Steamer carpets came out and they had a song, Stanley Steamer carpet cleaner, get your carpets clean. Okay. So I made up a rhyme that was like, it was her name, but it was like something like Mrs. Stanley's meaner or whatever it was. I said something. Well, anyway, then somebody else put something kind of bad on it or whatever. And then I guess Billy put something on it too. Well, they caught her and they caught her with it. And I said, well, it was mine. So I because I was going to just take the heat. So Mr. Korn, that was the principal back then at Central. So he marched her and I both down. And I'm telling you what, he swatted the shit out of both of us.
Oh my God.
So we got a SWAT because we made this picture, just like the Marsha Brady thing where they made a little picture and we both got SWATs, man. because we called her Stanley Steamer, the mean something teacher. Wasn't even like, cussing or anything like that.
Right.
Our producer said, Deana, I see you and POV on a live exclusive. As I leaned in too close to the phone, on a live exclusive all-hour stream on the school. Actually, she and I have already talked about that, doing some lives from the school. I think that would be pretty cool. For those that do or don't know, the owners of the school, Daryl Wisman, he was supposed to have, it was a heart valve replacement surgery, wasn't it?
Yes.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's the same thing that I have. It's a mitral valve. He was supposed to have that today, but Jamie had explained there were just a few setbacks that they had, and so it was postponed. But now he did come home today, and which shocks me because she said he was in ICU. So everybody make sure that we put the Wisman family. Now we see you.
With it. I said heck with it. I pulled it back. Well, who cares? It is what it is.
It is what it is. You know what? Actually, I just have mine pulled back today too. But we have to put them on a prayer list for us.
Absolutely.
And make sure that we send them out some positive juju and some prayers and stuff like that.
For sure.
Yeah, prayers to Daryl, absolutely. And these guys, the people at Post Town, they are just the best people. I don't know how many times, because I do a lot of benefits and stuff. I throw like a lot of benefits with the bands and different things. Daryl and Brenda are some of the first people that will help with a benefit. They'll donate things, or they'll make a basket, or they'll donate something for going in for the school and stuff like that, or even a baked good. They're just some of the kindest people that you'll meet. They're really they're just the real deal. You can even tell when you even watch the video. That's why I did those videos of Daryl. He is what he is. He is who he is. He doesn't pretend to be somebody. He doesn't fake it. They are the real deal. And it just comes across. And when they tell you that this has happened, or they've seen that happen in different experiences, it's absolutely happened. I'd bet my car on it. If Daryl said he's seen something, then he's seen this and it happened. That's the kind of people that they are.
Yeah, definitely. And you're the a caretaker there?
I'm kind of like his assistant.
Okay.
Site manager. Yeah, I do the bookings and the tours and things like that,
Oh,
along
cool.
with POV.
Yeah, so she's taking care of it. That's a big job, because I know it stays really busy there.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Now, I was sitting there thinking, I thought do they have an event that's coming up?
We had a big,
or is it you guys that's having a POV that's having an event coming up soon?
We just had an open investigation, February, or no, a couple weeks ago.
You know what? Well, okay, tell about that investigation. I just remembered what it is.
I touched on it a little bit earlier while you were off working.
I was getting my brat over here.
We try almost once a month. However, we do not have one booked for March yet. We offer an open investigation where you can come. You pay $50 and you come and investigate with us. So we let you use our equipment and we walk you around and show you like methods and things like that.
Oh, really, that's a fantastic idea, because there's a lot of people out there, order their equipment or do different things and have it mail order, but they've really not been out in the field to, know some of the do's and don't do's and stuff. That's a great idea that you got, or people that want to do it, but they just, they don't have the money to invest full on in equipment and stuff. That's fantastic. That's a great idea.
Yeah, that is awesome.
That is cool. I know what I saw. You guys had an ad on there that was for the flashlight tour.
Oh,
it's on the Post Town site, as a matter of fact. Yeah. Actually, for those that know, there is a Facebook page for Post Town. And what is the name of that page?
PostTownSchool.com. Or Middletown Historic. I think it's Middletown Historic.
Middletown Historic. Yeah. Okay, and that's the Facebook one?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I say I'm in the group and can't even think of the group name myself. I even posted a post on it earlier and I can't remember.
I know, between the Facebook and the website, I get which one is which. The email, I get confused. But yeah.
The email.
So, how much do you think, like, the train wreck that occurred there? I mean, what do you guys feel about, like, how much do you think that is what do you believe that that's possibly the souls there, or more? I don't know. I'm just curious what your opinion is on it.
Well, my theory is that so much has happened in that area that it's just like a beacon for spirit. Plus, you have
Yeah.
the energy coming from the train tracks, you have the energy coming from the running water all around it. So it's just
Right.
like a hub. It's a good spot or crossroads or whatever you want to call it for spirit to go.
Yeah,
Right.
I think it would pull in a lot of energy for that. And then at the same time, I mean, a lot of people don't count in. We do have a church that's right there, and then right from it is another church. And with that and the school, and technically that does create a triangle. I mean, where we have both of those churches at. Now, the one church
Where my
even had a
parents go.
daycare. It did have a yeah, and it had a yeah. Actually, I did the puppet ministry there, but yeah, there was like a lot of energy, and that does put the school right there inside of a triangle where there would be an immense amount of increased energy just from that. There's so much research that's been done anywhere you have like the three intersecting points with that. So that might be pulling in a lot too. And even that train wreck would have that train wreck would have even been put in there too. Why is Jamie flashing? Okay, I'm like, I see Jamie flashing. Hashtag Daryl. Okay, yeah, they're doing the giveaway. If you hashtag Daryl in the comments and stuff, they're doing a giveaway with that. And he's telling everybody to hashtag and pray for Daryl, which we will, and for Brenda too. And actually, if you're Daryl's right hand lady, let me tell you what, or the right hand fan, you've got both of your hands full. Matter of fact, you need a couple extra hands.
I could use a couple more. Yeah.
I tell you what, the funny thing is, the first time that I met Daryl, I used to go 4x4, and so I had a Mike Wine that did Monster Jeeps built my Jeep. And we had taken the quads and different stuff, and we were back in behind Daryl's property in them that they had on Thomas Road. And they were shooting up the cars with their shotguns. So the first time I meet him, yeah, because I shot guns and stuff. Like, the first time I met him, he's trying to hand me a gun and say, "Well, here, shoot this."
That's what we did for fun in Post Town when we.
It was like that was entertainment.
Yeah, I live.
He's much calmed down after that.
Now, is he related to? He's Wisman, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes,
I went
Brenda.
to school with some of the with the Wismans too. So
yeah, you did. You went to school with some of their family, and I think is it? I would have to even ask Jamie if she would know. Was it his sons, like his nephews, his not sons, his brother's kids?
That went to the school. I know Daryl's two daughters went to the school.
That's right. The girls did go there.
The Wismans I know, they lived on the corner of Thomas and Franklin Madison. And I don't know. I thought that was.
I'm not sure. I know Daryl and them are on the other. Yeah, they were on the other side. Huh? Yeah, they were on the other side of it. Yeah, we'll have to find out about. I'll have to end up asking them about that. But he says winner will get a paid investigation and a tour of the school.
Right. One thing, and I'm gonna get off of here, and I'm so glad I caught some of this, but I want to kind of say one thing before I go out. That was really when I was about 10 years old. I was right in front of Post Town on my way home. Me and my brother on our way home from Vacation Bible School. I'll never forget this. And across from the school is a gravel pit back in there.
Yes.
And we were going along there, and we seen a UFO. If I've ever heard of anything, seen any of it, was just hovering over the gravel pits right across from the school. And it's just
that's interesting you say that.
And so it's just kind of weird how you were talking about the triangle and how everything, that's just something that occurred and we all saw it. So
you are not the only person that I've heard that from.
Yeah, I've heard other people say that. And I forgot until you just said that. I've heard a few people say they've seen things in the sky.
Yeah, and they're at that gravel pit area. So that's interesting. Right. You know what? I might even make Yeah, I
my
might even see
my
about doing a
friend,
podcast on some of that because there's a lot of people I've heard say that. I can think of 3 of them right off the top of my head.
really, that's cool.
Yeah, sure can. One
You
of them I
know,
wouldn't give the time of day to anymore, but yeah, that one definitely
I hear you.
did.
I understand. But thank you so much
Cash
for
me,
letting me jump
cash
on.
me outside.
Think nobody got no time for that.
No, no time for that.
But I gotta get these
Well, you
fruits
have a
out.
blessed night and get those out of there. It looks fantastic. We'll end up getting to see like an after view later.
Yeah, I don't know why I just don't give up and just let it go gray, but whatever. But you guys have a
No,
great night.
no.
It was nice to meet
You have a
you.
blessed
Thank
night.
you.
Thanks, T.
Have a good one.
He said 30 seconds to enter the drawing and paid investigation. With hashtag Daryl. So you have the flashlight tour that's coming up.
I just advertised that you can book a flashlight tour with me anytime.
Okay, so they can book those anytime. Okay, I was wondering about that. All right, and then you have like the daytime historic tours that you have,
Yeah.
and they can book those. I guess that's just anytime also.
Yeah, I just work with you and your schedule and my schedule and match it up.
Okay, all right on. And what I'm going to have you give the contacts again real quick before we sign off.
Posttownschool.com is our website, or you can email myself or Daryl at posttownschool@gmail.com.
At gmail.com. Okay. And do you want to give POVs? Because we did use your guys' videos.
Yeah. POV_paranormal on our TikTok. We have POV paranormal YouTube, Facebook, TikTok. We got it all. Just
Yeah, I was gonna say you guys have got it covered.
search POV paranormal.
I know I was absolutely impressed with your guys' videos. I binged. I did. You guys have quite a few videos on there. It's really good. Kathy Arnott. Hey, check you out.
Cool.
She's the winner. Yeah, you guys have had like a ton of different videos and different types of experiences, which I thought was pretty cool. There's the Godfather. Or maybe not the Godfather. Is the Godfather there?
Yes, it's the day of my daughter's quinceañera. What can I do for you?
There's not enough mints on the table.
Go ahead and send me your information on Facebook. We'll get this taken care of and get it shipped out to you. I will get a hold of POV and Deana in the meantime and orchestrate things. Just because of Daryl's health, we're not going to put too much stress on him, but we will get it taken care of one way or another.
Very cool. Yeah, he is two of the best people. He and Brenda too. I could just rave about her forever. And that smile, she smiles. Those two are 2 peas in the pod. They've been in love, and they are truly they're like on a honeymoon still.
They're funny. They're funny together.
They're perfectly meant for each other. They are definitely soulmates. They're the cutest things in the world. Okay, well, we have just a few more minutes in the show. If anybody wants to hit like or share the show, mine's finally 5. I show you a little picture of my little brat. I move it over here. She's never done that before. She was I had her in her little room in the back, and she started barking. I thought she was hearing the feral cats. I feed half of them. I thought that's what she was barking at, but no, she just wanted to come in here and sit. And then I sat down on her.
Mine thinks it's playtime.
I see yours here. Mine had the zoomies yesterday. I had the big time zoomies. So we'll go ahead and we'll get together and we will do like a live tour type thing sometime. Maybe do like a live go in, and instead of doing the podcast from the house, we'll do it from inside the school or something like that. See what we catch or don't catch. I have a tendency to I'm real careful about how I do those things because I seem to be a magnet for that stuff.
You're a beacon. That's what I call it, a beacon.
It is. I'll tell you what. We were at it's CCP's actually. It's Austin Maynard's place. So I was up at Middle Point, and my mom had passed away, and they had set up some of the sensors and things that was up there, and it was with Brandy Marie, or the psychic Brandy Marie. She just started picking up on my mom, and at first I thought she might be picking up on somebody else, so I didn't pipe up. And then it was just some of the things that she said I knew. And I said, would you actually be talking about somebody that maybe could have died of with a lung cancer? Because my mom had a inoperable brain cancer, but it metastasized to her liver and lung. And when she did that, I mean, the lights weren't even set to go off. The lights started going off and triggered them. And then they had the doll that triggers, and of course the ink box. And I mean, it answered one question after another. And I had lost five family members and a friend in 2020.
Oh, wow.
And yeah, it was an interesting year. But every one of them had blonde, curly, short hair. And she had mentioned somebody with blonde and curly hair. And it's like when you said the debunking, I have seen all of these different things happen and occur. I've done all the investigation and the searching, of course, tons of it by ourselves. But even with that happening, because it was relating to me closer, and with my mom I was trying to figure out every way to debunk it. I even moved myself over where I was at the doll. Because anybody working the doll, and I know how this stuff works. I've done this how many times. And I kid you not, when I thought in my mind, because she mentioned somebody cremated, well, there was only one that was cremated. And, at that point. And I thought of my friend Amy, and immediately, clear as day, it came through the ink box. Hi, Deana.
Oh, wow.
And I knew it was my friend. Yeah, it was my friend Amy. And and prior to that, when they were discussing like the colors of the lights and stuff, Brandy had asked, what is your favorite color? When you do like the confirmation on the ink box that this really is who you're talking to.
Right.
And my mom loved purple, and she loved turquoise. And she said, do you love the color purple? And the lights kind of did like a little thing. And she mentioned turquoise. And I'm telling you what, those lights lit up almost like a sea green color, which is as close as what it could get to turquoise. Well, when we were and the whole stage triggered. And when we were in the break room later on, and we were talking about it and telling it about it, Austin, who created the machinery and set the trigger lights up, he said no, he said they won't trigger those colors. He said it's only set for blue and red. And we had like a circle of us down there in the auditorium. If you've been to Middle Point, we were down in the auditorium. We had a circle of us. There's probably like 14, 15, 16 of us in there, and every one of us seen it happen.
Wow.
And I mean, it was just, it was phenomenal. Kathy said, I love Middle Point. I see a lot of lives from there. Yeah, it is. It's a really neat, it is pretty neat there. I'll tell you what, if they start doing everything, the lives at Post Town, Kathy, Post Town's active. I mean, it really super is. Phoenix said, Deana, my phone just sent balloons across my screen twice, but I wasn't touching the screen. Wow.
That's interesting.
You know what? I kid you not. If I could figure out how to do this and pull this, I just cleared out I just cleared out my store and lock. And when I cleared out my store and lock, I have my mother's, and they're huge. I have how could I do that? I have my mother's funerary flowers in here. Let's see if I can do this. Hey, there's my artwork. If you can see, and it's a mess because it did just clear out the thing. Was it even showing?
Yeah. We see
Oh, okay, there we go. I have 2 sets of my mother's funeral flowers in here. So that's interesting that you say that, because I just bought balloons, of all things, balloons that just came across your phone. I just bought balloons to put on my mother's grave. As silly as this sounds, my mom said that, and she just was a prankster and stuff, and she put balloons on people's graves. Kid you not. And actually, she put get well balloons on some people's graves. She did it to my aunt. So it's just kind of funny. So if you've seen balloons, that was probably just my mother. Wow, that is amazing. Now she's tapping on me saying, give me some loving. Yeah, that's interesting, Phoenix. And I'm glad that you told me that was something, that was something fantastic to hear about. we're going to go ahead and we're getting towards it's 11 o'clock. And actually here she's going to jump up towards, she's trying to say hello, say little Miss Ellie. Actually, she's named Ellie after that video game, The Last of Us. And ironically, we seem to be going through that right now. Matter of fact, I think they just made a movie off of that video game. But join us next week. And I very much appreciate Jamie coming on and speaking with us and sharing POV's videos. Those are POV Paranormal's videos that we shared. And the other one was a live videos, and they were Zach Powers videos. They were public on YouTube. And join us next week. And I have Marsha K. Moore, who is an artist. She's had her artwork that's on and been referred to and used as references on Ancient Aliens, Ancient Ancestors, and there's just a whole list in museums and researchers and everybody that's looked at her artwork and uses it for references. She goes over like the Deana Indians. She just did one now, and shows literally, and she goes through the anatomy of the human body, and it shows, that they were giants. That they try to jive talk us and say that the giants didn't exist, but yeah, and these were in the Indian burial mounds. And hopefully we will get to see you guys next Thursday. We're always on at 8:45 Eastern Time and 7:45 Central Time on Skydoor Network and that's on both YouTube and on Facebook. And you guys have a blessed and a wonderful evening. And thank you for joining us and being our guest viewers.